A very good morning, Abdi, to Madam Alia and all my lovely group mates. We are from Group 10, and today we are going to have a cute and nice conversation about Gen Z. So basically, we are going to talk about ourselves. To be more precise, we are going to talk about uh, our experience based on how we were raised, and the second one would be the challenges that we faced as a Gen Z, and the third one is the benefit of being a Gen Z, and last but not the least, the stereotype of a Gen Z. Okay, before we start, I would like to introduce my group members. First, we have Sufi. Second, we have Alicia. Third, we have Amiruddin. The fourth, we have Adam. And we have Fahid. And last but not the least, myself, Jeevamala Raghunathan. And so, without further ado, let's get started with the first question that goes, how you as a Gen Z was raised? Okay, who is going to start first? Any volunteers?
I volunteer to start first.
All right.
Okay, so how I was raised, huh? I am the youngest in my family. I have four other siblings other than me. And fun fact, the age difference between me and my brother above me is 11 years. So you guys can conclude the fact that everyone in my family is a generation before us or even more. And I'm the only Gen Z in the house. So growing up, what I realized is the fact that I actually matured a little bit faster than my peers at school because at home I was not treated like how I see my Gen Z friends are treated at their homes. I was treated as how my siblings were treated when they were kids. There was no difference to how my parents tried to educate us and raise us. My mom specifically, she raised all of her kids the same way. Uh, and I think that's about it for me.
All right, thank you, Adam. That was very interesting to get to know about how an only Gen Z's life in a family would feel like. Now, I would like to choose Fahim to share his part.
Is it me? Okay.
Yes.
So, how I was raised as a Gen Z is that I was raised by overprotective parents. So, they would seclude me from many activities. So I didn't experience a lot of things. This combined with the fact that I live in a predominantly Chinese neighborhood means that I didn't hang out with other kids my age due to the cultural differences. And it really destroys my social skills. Okay, so that is my experience as a Gen Z. Okay, to the next person.
Thank you, Fahim. Let's move on to Anisha.
Okay, first of all, I'm glad to be part of the podcast. So as for me, I was raised in loving, caring, and supportive family. I have two siblings, which I am the eldest, and I have one younger brother. I believe that my parents raised me well. They taught me the fundamental values of life, and then they taught me to be independent and responsible in all the things that I am doing. And yeah, they are also strict parents. So they always want me to be success in academic. It's kind of pressure to me, but I know they did this for my own good. So I am grateful to be their daughter.
Okay, that's a cute story. Now, let us move on to Sufi.
So first thing first, Assalamualaikum and good evening to our host and my RD team. So first of all, I'm sorry to hear Fahim's story, which he has um, overprotective parents, but I think you should take it on the good sides. Maybe they want you to be a better or successful person in the future, I think. So that's from me. And
Thank you, Sophie.
okay, welcome. And as you guys know, there's Generation Z is the person who born in 1997 until 2023. And how I was raised is just the same how my parents were raised. So I am not raised by technology or by handphones. I don't have them until the end of my SPM era. So basically at the age of 19 or 18. So during the pandemic COVID-19, I really don't have the entertainment to socialize with other people. And also my parents they use secret weapons such as rotan or getah pahit so that their sons or daughter will be a good person. And I think I'm very grateful or lucky that even though my parents are very strict, but they managed to teach us very well. And also, I think I am the firstborn of my family, and I have four siblings. So I am forced to be matured by circumstances. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sufi, for your speech, and it's very surprising to see a Gen Z who don't have a lot of association with the technology. And now we are moving on to Anirudin.
Okay, thank you, Mala. Supi, your life, how you were raised and me are very different. Uh, I was pampered a lot by my mothers and siblings because I am the last born in the family. I was raised by a single mother, so she's very protective and also very supportive of me. And because I was pampered a lot, I have a early exposure to the internet and technology. At the age of 6, I already have my own uh, personal computer. And at the age of 14, I already have my own smartphone.
Okay, thank you, Anirudin, for sharing your side of story. Now I'm going to talk about my life about a Gen Z. Okay, being born in an Indian family, it is compulsory for an Indian kid to learn the traditional ritual as deep as possible. Even though I am a Gen Z, it's been a long time after the rituals have been introduced. It is a must, and my parents will always make sure I follow the ritual as it is the identity for an Indian. At the same time, even my parents are very keen about the traditional ritual. They do not have any restriction towards my wishes, and they don't force me to do something as their wish, and they let me to do the thing that I like, but with one condition where whatever I do, I must not forget my traditional rituals, and that's how I was raised in an Orthodox family. All right. That's all about the first question. Now let us move on to the next question, which goes the challenges of growing up as a Gen Z. Again, who's going to start first? Anybody?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Okay, is it okay with you, Dam?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Uh, as for me, because of early exposure, the challenge for me as a Gen Z is technology overload. Being born in a fully digitalized era, it have a lot of benefits, but it also come with challenges such as information overload and cyberbullying. Personally, I have been cyberbullying. Uh, People commenting on my for example, Instagram post, they're saying a bad thing like you look like a meatball or anything, and really hurt my self-esteem, and it caused me to stop posting for years until I gain my own confidence this year to start posting again. So it is really affecting person self-esteem. So guys, don't cyberbullying.
Thank you, Amiruddin, for sharing your cyberbullying story. It's really take a lot of courage to share it. Now I would like to call upon Adam. Adam.
No, Adam also can. Same thing,
Adam.
same thing. I'll
Sorry.
still respond. Okay, first and foremost, Dane, I'm sorry to hear that you were cyberbullied back then. I cannot imagine what would drive people to call you a bully. Okay, so challenges growing up as Gen Z. Mm, I think the biggest challenge was having to adapt to the changes basically, like as we progress. technology is the biggest thing that has actually progressed with us. Like technology has been revolutionized very quickly to the point that we as Gen Z back then we had to quickly adapt towards how it is. For example, I remember as a kid, I remember using one of those land phones, those type of phones that you guys had to like spin the knob thing to get the phone number. Yeah, I was actually familiar with that. But then I remember this one time, cell phones, Nokia phones were introduced, and during that time, um, it was the sudden craze. Like my dad once bought it home, like he bought one and he brought it home, and I was so interested with it because it wasn't really something that I was familiar with. It was new, it was alien to me. At the time, I didn't see like the main purpose of it because again, we had land phones, so like there's no real reason for us to have a cell phone with us. But then at one point, it was when smartphones were introduced, the touchscreen phones. When those phones were introduced, I saw its impact that it was going to bring to us. Um, Again, at first I didn't see it becoming relevant, becoming a necessity, but as time progressed, it was something that was ubiquitous. It was everywhere, and it was something that has actually revolutionized how we did a lot of things back then. So the challenge is having to adapt to the changes very in a quick way. That was the biggest challenge for me. Next.
Right. Next, Susie, would you like to talk?
So first thing, I am very sorry to hear Amiruddin's story that um people used to call him as a meatball. And I think the first challenges of growing up with Gen Z is, I'm sorry for laughing, Amiruddin. The challenges of growing up with Gen Z would be mental bullying in school or in social media. So, as a Gen Z, we are very technological advanced. So, being downgrade in social media is very not a good thing for us because it will boost down our self-esteem, our confidence level, and also it will make us feel very not confidence with other people, because when we are exposing ourselves on social media, we are forced to have the ability to be patient. And the other challenges I think is, as a generation Z, we are very difficult to blend in some society or environment, because there are many differences in our era and the older era. So sometimes, for example, sometimes when we make a joke about the thing, maybe for us or for Generation Z, it is okay. But then for the older generations, it is not good or inappropriate jokes like that. So that's all from me. Thank you.
They might take it too personally, I guess, the older generation. Okay, now let us. I would like to talk about the challenges since I share the almost the same topic with Susie about technology. Okay, to be honest, there is not much challenges that I faced when I was growing up. This is because the world already has been improved a lot compared to our parents' generation. For example, technology already becomes so much advanced, and most of us do not have to trouble ourselves anymore. For example, we do not have to carry lots of money with us when we are going or traveling around. We can just pay using the by scanning the barcode provided, and we don't have to work really hard when we are doing some house chores, because there are a lot of electrical gadgets have been introduced. We still can study and work from home. So to be honest, I don't really face numerous challenges since there are a lot of advantages were introduced in the form of technology. Move on with Alicia first.
Okay. Um, Gen Z grew up in a world where technology, particularly the internet and smartphones, become integral to our daily life. So unlike the previous generations, we were exposed to digital devices from a very young age that lead to shape our communication styles and then learning methods and overall worldview. So I think the challenges growing up as a Gen Z is poor communication skill. This is because Gen Z has grown up in an era where digital communication is prevalent. So many Gen Z are adept at expressing ourselves through digital platforms such as WhatsApp or Instagram. So when it comes to face communication, I will become very shy to express my feeling or opinion because I felt that if I want to talk with that person, I will chat them. So it makes me more comfortable to do that. So I think the challenges is it made me introvert when it comes to face communication.
Okay, thank you, Alisa and Fahim. Are you ready?
Yes, sorry. Okay, first of all, I would like to say that all of your points about technology is very interesting as it puts in the different point of views of how technology affects us as Gen Z. Now, as for the challenges that I think Gen Zs face the most is the fact that anxiety of the future. As all of you know, Gen Z is the backbone of the workforce in the future. And this comes with a lot of pressure for them since they have a huge responsibility that they must carry. And also, this combines with the fact that there are issues that have accumulated since the previous decades, means that there's a lot of things that they must fix in the future. There's a lot of responsibility for one generation. So I think Gen Z has the anxiety of the future as there are challenges. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fahim. Now, that's the end of this question, and all of us talk about technology in different dimensions. Now, let us move on to the third question, which goes the benefit of being a Gen Z. Okay, for this question, I'm going to start first. Again, I'm going to talk about the topic technology. One of the best benefits of being a Gen Z is that we can access to technology very easily. There are lots of platforms that can be used to improve our lifestyle. For instance, YouTube would be one of the best platforms to upload video that we created and earn penny from that. If you are really passionate about this, you can also take this step as your career as well. Hence, proof that being in the generation, we can earn money legally by sitting at our own house compared to the older generation who do not have this kind of technology advantages and have to work really hard physically to get the money. So that's all from me. Now I would like to choose Adam to talk about his point of view.
Right. So as for benefits, right? Okay. So the benefits of Gen Z, I'm gonna explore the education sector mixed with again technology. Like I feel like technology and Gen Z are somewhat intertwined with each other because if we talk about Gen Z, then one thing that we're gonna think about is technology because it's something that we grew up with. Okay. So if I were to put it in the education sector, I would say that the benefits is education. Knowledge is much more easier to be obtained nowadays. If we were to compare to decade like 2 or 3 decades ago, if we were to want to know something, if we want to gain some information, look up something, then the only way was either we had to go to the library and look for books about the subject, or we would have to ask people who actually know more about the subject. That's not the case nowadays because nowadays we have Google, we have every single like there's I think it's like Google Scholar, something like that, which is designed for studies, is for students to study. We have Google Classroom. There's ways for us to do presentations. We can make slides on Canva or PowerPoint. It's just education has been revolutionized very well um, prior to how it was back then, and that's actually a very good indicator that um, we will have a brighter future ahead of us because uh, uh, a generation that is filled with knowledge is a generation that will strive in the future. So that's the benefit that I can see.
All right, thank you, Adam. Now moving on to Fahim.
Okay, the benefits that I believe that Gen Z have, the advantage that they have is that Gen Zs are more connected than ever before. We are the most connected generation, as I would say. So, as you all know, we live closer with each other. Our cultures are intertwined. We get a lot more exposure to the other cultures. And this allows for enrichment for the mind about other cultures. We get exposed to it. And this is not only happens in real life, it also happens on the internet. We can also talk through social media and phones. With just one click, I can message someone from the other continents. So I think that as a generation, we are more connected than ever before than any other generations. All right, so thank you.
All right, thank you, Fahim. Next move on to the next person, Alicia.
Okay, so being a part of Gen Z comes with its own set of unique characteristics, experiences, and opportunities. So the benefits of Gen Z is they display the business spirit. So basically, the online platforms such and resources has empowered them to start business and then create content at a very young age. So many of my friends started their small business through the social media. Some of them promotes dessert that they make, and then I do support them. So actually, they gain their self income through the online business and also business experiences.
All, all right, thank you, Alicia. Now move on to Sophie.
Okay. So the benefits of being in Generation Z, I think, is we have many choices to further our studies. Because my mom always said that back then in their days, they have to walk in a long distance of road, or take buses or take trains to further their studies, and also they have to earn money to further their studies, to buy their books or to pay for the students fee and all of that. And one more thing is, I think by being a Generation Z, we are technological advanced, because we know how to use technology these days that are um, very needs in our jobs market these days. So I think that's the benefit of being in a Generation Z. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the points, Sophie. Now, last but not the least, let us move on to Anirudh.
Okay, thank you, Mala. Alicia, your point about Gen Z associated with online business, I very agree on that point, because some of my friends, one of them are entrepreneur for henna company called Inai Makcik Sebelah. You guys can check it out. As for my opinion, I think the benefits of being Gen Z is that our generation have what we call global awareness. Gen Z have a heightened awareness of global issues, including environmental concerns, social justice, and human rights. For example, one of the famous Gen Z social activists or climate activists is Greta Thunberg. Uh, at the age of 15 years old, she already started to involve with climate change activists and already give a speech at the Swedish Parliament. Meanwhile, we already at the age of 15, we are busy with PT3. And in 2018, it is estimated that 1.5 million students joined her call to fight the climate change. And in 2019, she was one of the 100 most influential person in the world. There are a lot more influential or Gen Z famous people that are associated with global awareness, such as Billie Eilish, Mbappe, Mr. Beast, and Malala Yousaf. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Amiruddin. That's a great example that you tell us. And from all of this talk, it shows that most of the Gen Z brought up with a lot of privilege. Moving on to the last question, the stereotype of a Gen Z. Fakim would be the first person to present his opinion.
Uh, so I think the first stereotype that people comes to mind when talking to about Gen Z is that Gen Z is lazy. So I'm here to say that this stereotype is over exaggerated or just simply untrue. But the origin of this stereotype is that it comes from the 2019 COVID-19 epidemic, where there is the MCO. You see, when there is the work at home system, our work progress and effort is not visible for other people to see. So it is easy for other people to assume that we did not do any work. But even though we are doing our work at home, there's a lot of burden mentally, emotionally, and physically. But this is all, it's not visible to the public image. So it really ruins our reputation as a generation. All right. So I'll pass the floor to the next person.
Sophie, would you like to speak?
So I think, in my opinion, the stereotypes of Generation Z is they easily influenced by bad influences, because there are one issue nowadays that happened. One of the YouTuber or podcaster named Yusuf said that schools are not important because they did not give a life skill to students, and this was supported by a singer or an influencer named Asad Mota, who have millions of followers on Instagram. So I think this is a very bad influence by those generations, and this would affect the students' academic, because there was one TikTok said that many students get 0 marks for their examinations because they want to be an influencer, because they were influenced by these bad influences that schools are not important, that academics is not good for them to be a content creator. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Now moving on to Alicia.
Okay, so there is a stereotype said that Gen Z may have a diminished work ethic compared to previous generations. So this assumption said that Gen Z may be less committed to their work, more inclined towards a desire for work-life balance, and possibly less motivated. But I disagree with that assumptions, because I think Gen Z has experienced and adapt to various societal and economic changes. So this makes them resilient and adaptable to employees. So Gen Z possess the ability to quickly adjust to new situation or work environment. So in my opinion, they are flexible and then open to the change. That's all from me.
Thank you, Alicia. Now moving on to Amiruddin.
Thank you, Mala. For me, I think that the stereotype, the most famous stereotype of Gen Z, that we are obsessed with social media. But that is obviously not true, because social media is a very significant aspect of Gen Z social life. Many also value in-person connections and recognize the importance of offline relationships. The previous generation, they often say that we are obsessed with social media, but if we look at their time in their mid 20s, they have Facebook. They're also obsessed with Facebook. They even make a song called Muka Buku. But if we look at our current generation, we don't even that obsessed to create a song about our favorite applications.
Okay, thank you, Amiruddin. And last but not the least, we are going to invite Adam to present his point of view.
All right, thank you, Mala. So, so stereotypes, yes. Okay, so one stereotype that has been widely known for Gen Zs is the fact that people proclaim that Gen Zs are bad at communication and social skills. And I don't disagree with them. I don't disagree with people who claim that because it's kind of true. But I also don't blame the Gen Z party for being that way. Okay. Do Gen Zs have bad communication skills? Some are good, some are bad, majority is bad. Okay, the reason being is the fact that we were struck by the COVID-19 pandemic where we had to quarantine ourselves in the comfort of our homes. It happened for like a year, around 2 years where we weren't allowed to get out of our homes. And because of that, we have not managed to have any face-to-face interaction with any other human beings other than our family members or those who are in our house at the time. This was actually a very, very bad thing for us, especially the Gen Zs at the time who were most probably students either in secondary school or maybe in their university era. Because being in school or university is the time where we're supposed to socialize. We're gonna have that, we're gonna gain those communication skills during those times. But when taking it away, it actually made us not be able to adapt to communication and socializing as much. At the time, there were like the substitutes such as online meetings, Google Meet, Zoom, and those were very good initiatives to help with interacting with other people that they're having classes or hanging out with friends. But it can never even reach as close as to having real life face-to-face interactions with people. That's what really messes up someone. Like even for me, I didn't speak to anyone for months, and it was very degrading to my ability to communicate because I used to be well at communicating. I used to be a public speaker, but then after the COVID-19 pandemic, I just lost all of that there. I lost all of the power to speak in public. And so that's where the stereotype comes from, and I do agree to the stereotype.
Okay, thank you, Adam. And lastly, I would like to end this question with my opinion about stereotypes of Gen Z. Okay, for me, one of the stereotype of being a Gen Z is that people think we are being mean and rude. This is because many of the Gen Z started to voice out their opinion and point of view more bravely compared to the previous generation. In this case, many people often think that Gen Z are very rude and mean because they do not want to listen to their elders. For me, I believe it is a stereotype because we are voicing out because it is our right and it is important to voice out to change some of the unpleasant things that are happening around us. And voicing out is not in the sense of to degrade or to show disrespect towards someone. That's all about my point. So, in a nutshell, from this conversation, we all can conclude that most of the Gen Z has a different story. So, basically, a Gen Z's lives took a huge turnover because we all been raised by a different generation with their old mindset, which doesn't suit nowadays situation. However, the one thing that we all of us would like to convey is that Gen Z is one of the most promising generation, and the stereotype of a Gen Z are untrue based on the stories that we share. So before signing off, I would like to thank all my group members, Alicia, Sufi, Amiruddin, Fahim, and also Adam, for being very sporting throughout this podcast recording. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.